I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers stay as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome back. Today we're going to be opening up Workbook Lesson 347. And it gives us a pretty startlingly direct answer about where all our upset really comes from. It has us trace our anger not to, the external event, but to the interpretation we made inside, often without even noticing we did it.
Exactly. And that's really our mission here today. We're looking at the mechanics of the mind's internal decision process.
Right.
The whole point is to see how judgment, whether it seems really small or, extreme, functions specifically as this self-imposed wall, a barrier, that the mind designs to keep you from seeing the clear view, from seeing the miracle that's always there. We're really looking at that foundational choice against peace.
The lesson just lays it right out there from the very first line, doesn't it? It makes that connection between anger and judgment totally inescapable. Let's just review the whole thing.
Let's do it.
It says, anger must come from judgment. Judgment is the weapon I would use against myself to keep the miracle away from me. Father, I want what goes against my will, and do not want what is my will to have. Straighten my mind, my Father, it is sick. But you have offered freedom, and I choose to claim your gift today. And so I give all judgment to the one you gave to me to judge for me. He sees what I behold, and yet he knows the truth. He looks on pain, and yet he understands it is not real, and in his understanding it is healed. He gives the miracles my dreams would hide from my awareness. Let him judge today. I do not know my will, but he is sure it is your own, and he will speak for me and call your miracles to come to me.
That first line is it's everything.
Anger must come from judgment.
Yeah,
it's a complete pivot from how the world sees it, isn't it?
totally.
It just takes all the justification for anger right off the table. The upset you feel isn't caused by the event. It's from the meaning you slapped onto it, the judgment.
And that shifts the entire locus of control.
Oh.
It puts the responsibility right back where it belongs. The feeling of, say, frustration or anger, it isn't the problem itself. It's just the result.
The
symptom of a decision the mind made minutes, hours, maybe even years before. These quiet, almost invisible little choices we make carry the most weight.
And that's the real subtlety we have to unpack here. We tend to think of anger as the sudden explosion, set off by some external thing.
Right. A rude comment, traffic.
Exactly. A piece of bad news. But what this is saying is that by the time that trigger happens, the mind's already made its choice.
It's already picked its interpretation. It just reached for its default narrative without ever checking if that story actually makes any sense or if it even helps you.
The interpretation is the event.
That's it. The external thing, the comment, the delay, it's neutral. It means nothing. We provide the meaning.
So if you have a pattern of judging the world as, say, unfair or hostile,
then your mind will just grab that external event as proof. It uses it to confirm the judgment. And once that judgment is confirmed, bang, you feel the anger. Because now your mind perceives itself as being attacked or cheated. And that description of judgment as a weapon you use on yourself is so profound. It's designed to keep the miracle, that shift in how you see things, away.
it's not just about judging other people.
No, it's about the fundamental choice to rely on our own little interpretive system, which is always going to be flawed because it's based on the idea of separation in the first place.
So when you condemn a person or a situation, you are attacking your own peace.
Condemnation creates imprisonment. Forgiveness brings freedom. That's the law that governs perception inside this dream we're in. If you condemn, you've just drawn the boundary of your own experience. You've basically said, I'll only find peace on the other side of this line.
Which brings us to that next point about injury being impossible. But believing in condemnation makes injury feel incredibly real inside the illusion.
If I believe your mistake deserves my condemnation, then my mistakes must deserve it too. And then the mind starts seeing punishment everywhere because it offered punishment to the world first, You get trapped by the very judgment you were trying to use on somebody else.
So that makes the weapon double-edged. It ensures the guilt just gets passed around. If I'm holding on to condemnation, I can't possibly believe I'm safe.
And that leads right into those incredible lines from the prayer and the lesson.
Father, I want what goes against my will, and do not want what is my will to have.
The core conflict is just laid bare right there.
Yeah.
We are actively choosing a painful, made-up self-concept over the peace that is our actual inheritance. Self-condemnation is the act of defining yourself as separate, as flawed, and therefore as deserving of attack.
Mm.
And once the mind makes that decision about its identity, that it's this limited, guilty thing, it becomes fearfully defensive of that idea.
It protects it.
The manual says once this self-concept is made, you doubt everything but that. You become absolutely certain of your own painful self-made identity.
And that is the trap. We get so busy defending this painful identity we literally just made up that we completely miss the truth that's guaranteed. We're just arguing for our own limitations.
We argue for sickness, for lack, for struggle, because all those things fit the definition of the self we decided we were.
But the lesson immediately pivots.
It reminds you that the power of decision is still yours. You have the choice right now to just accept your rightful place as a co-creator.
Letting go of judgment isn't just, a nice thing to do. It's an act of redefining who you are moment by moment.
And the only way out of that self-condemnation is to let go of the whole mechanism of judgment. Just drop it. You give it all to the Holy Spirit, the one who is given to you to judge for you.
And that judge sees the same situation you do. The pain, the mistake.
But he knows the truth that's
Yeah.
behind the appearance. He looks
Yeah.
on the pain and understands it's not real. And in that understanding, the whole situation is healed.
He gives it the true meaning, which is always correction.
Right. The Holy Spirit doesn't measure your behavior or condemn you for the mistake. He just sees the error for what it is, a call for correction, and provides the clarity, the miracle that your own dream state would try to hide from you.
The key is realizing that we don't know our own will. We've confused this painful self-concept with our actual self.
Exactly. But the Holy Spirit is sure of our will because our will is the same as God's. So when you hand over judgment, you're just allowing that perfect clarity to speak for you and to call in the miracles that you were otherwise blocking.
It's a real shift from measuring your performance to just accepting your guaranteed identity. It means seeing that the external world can never, ever truly define or hurt the truth of what you are inside. And that really sets the stage for how our internal decisions end up shaping our whole reality.
If that internal decision, the judgment, is the thing creating our unhappiness, we have to look at what that judgment actually produces.
If we decide internally that we're condemned, what kind of a world are we going to see?
All the things you think you see are just reflections of the ideas in your mind.
The world is a projection screen.
It's a giant projection screen for whatever your internal thought system is. Your sight has only one purpose: to show you what your mind already desires and has judged as valuable. If your mind values grievances, you're going to see grievances everywhere you look.
And this is that fundamental reversal of how the world thinks. The world teaches that what happens outside determines how you feel, what you see, what you value.
Right.
The Course teaches the exact opposite. Your thoughts determine the world you see.
The kind of world you live in, then, is an undeniable reflection of the thoughts in your mind. An insane world comes from insane wishes, wishes for separation and guilt. A condemned world comes from judgment,
And a gentle world.
comes from forgiving thoughts. The world itself is meaningless.
So if you're upset, it's because you're seeing a meaningless world. Insane thoughts make a world where there's no order, where chaos rules, and you can't have peace in chaos.
Your thoughts are telling you where you are and what you think you are. If you see a world of suffering and loss and death, that is only a picture of your insane thoughts.
You aren't letting your real thoughts shine their light on what you see.
Exactly. You see no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts. Your thoughts determine the world you see. We're always trying to join with what we see to make it part of our story instead of just seeing it as neutral and letting it go.
And the biggest anchor for this whole illusory system is our identification with the body.
Yes. The mind that thinks it lives inside a body is described as sick. The body is the ultimate symbol of limitation, of frailty, of separation. So if you look for freedom in the body, you're literally looking in the one place it can never be found.
If the mind believes it's a body, it's trapped by the body's rules. Time, vulnerability, the senses.
And it has to be set free from that idea. Our real awareness, our identity, is completely whole and unlimited. The ego, though, builds its entire plan around the idea of the body. It uses the senses to gather evidence that the world is real and its own separate existence is real.
And the senses themselves are unreliable, right? The text says the body's eyes are blind, its ears are deaf, it can't think, it can't have effects.
The body itself is inert. It's just there. It's purposeless until a mind gives it a purpose. We invest so much belief in what the body sees and hears, but all it's doing is filtering sensory data to conform to the judgments the mind has already made.
The images we make with those senses can't possibly stand up against what God knows us to be.
Which is unlimited and whole.
So we've basically built this entire structure, the world, the body, our senses, all to confirm the self-condemning judgment we made in the first place.
That's it.
We're basically looking at our own decision projected outward, and then we're reacting to that projection as if it were the cause of our feelings.
That's the function of the world of perception. It's a symbol of fear because it's a symbol of separation, which is the absence of love. The eyes deceive, the ears hear falsely, mistakes seem possible.
The mind has to choose to let go of seeing itself as being contained by the body. The light of truth is in us, where God put it.
And once you see the world and the body for what they are, just false evidence for a mistaken judgment, then you're ready. You're ready to take the only corrective step there is.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
If the world is just reflecting our insane thoughts, then forgiveness is how we undo that untruth.
True forgiveness recognizes that what you thought your brother did to you didn't actually happen.
It doesn't pardon sins and make them real. It's about seeing there was no sin in the first place.
Forgiveness just looks right past the error. It sees it as a mistake, a misinterpretation, sure, but not as some fundamental evil or a permanent stain on the Son of God. It sees the idea of sin as false, so it lets it go.
And what's left when that untruth is gone?
The will of God. Perfect, without any judgment.
The Course is so clear that forgiveness is its single aim. It's the entire curriculum.
It is the legitimate goal of all the learning that's offered here. It prepares the way for what's beyond learning, which is knowledge. But while we're still in the learning phase, forgiveness is the only task. And it's enough. You don't have to try to force some final revelation. You just have to forgive the perception of sin.
The mechanism for healing, then, is correction, which is called atonement. Atonement is just the undoing of errors.
And our only responsibility in this whole process is to accept the atonement for ourselves. It means accepting that the error of separation and all the judgment of self and others that came from it was just a mistake. It wasn't a sin.
Right.
And this is a very practical moment-to-moment thing. The manual gives this really crucial instruction for a teacher of God. It says, if you feel irritation, any flicker of condemnation, judgment, anger, you must realize that you have made an interpretation that is not true. You turn within to your guide to the Holy Spirit and let Him judge the situation. The external event means nothing. Your internal interpretation is the only mistake. And by turning within for that correct judgment, you heal your own mind.
And in your healing,
The perceived person or situation that was irritating you is healed right along with you.
this takes honesty, though. You can't want to be right and justified in your anger and also want peace.
The final outcome is the remembrance of God, the return to who you really are. When you put cause and effect back in their true sequence, recognizing the cause is always in your mind, and the effect is the world you see. The learning just generalizes.
And all the effects of the mistaken belief.
Guilt, sickness, pain, disaster, suffering, they have no purpose anymore, so they're gone. They just stop seeming to be real.
The process to get there is relinquishment, To heal, you have to learn to lay all judgment aside and just ask for what you really want in every circumstance.
Which is always peace.
Right.
And that word relinquishment can sound a little scary at first. It's this period where you're giving up what you thought was valuable.
Your defenses, your control, your grievances.
Yeah. And if you see it that way, as giving up something desirable, it's going to create conflict. The mind is afraid it's losing something real.
But the reality is that the teacher of God going through this process finds this happy lightheartedness right where they expected to find grief.
They realized they weren't asked to sacrifice anything of value at all. They thought they were giving something up, but instead they just find a gift. You only give up the valueless.
This is why wisdom is defined as the relinquishment of judgment, not as judgment itself.
True wisdom is recognizing that your own judgment is worthless. It's based on incomplete, biased data from a self-concept you're trying to get rid of. So you make one final, sane choice. There is someone with me whose judgment is perfect, impartial, and based on all the facts. You are fundamentally as God created you, no matter what painful things you've made of yourself through judgment.
So we've traced this whole path from that internal, invisible judgment all the way to this magnificent outcome of complete forgiveness and a healed perception.
The goal is to keep practicing, because the practice is what changes your perception, for one.
We're also told to practice forgetting all things except God's love.
What you're withdrawing is the ego.
What happens when we fail? When we fall right back into judgment?
You lapse back into condemnation. It is merely a mistake that calls for correction.
Thank you for joining us for this exploration of Lesson 347. If you'd like to share a reflection or a question about this material, you can always reach us at ACIM at theworldharmonyproject.org.
We will see you for the next lesson.
I